Hello, hello. We are live, I believe. This time, at least, we are live. Um, we're here to build a 10th level character tonight, and we got some beautiful art to give us some inspiration. Uh, I just put out the Against the Iron Tyrant episodes, that whole series, and it inspired me to make a character of my own because I liked watching my players play crazy powerful characters, and I said, yeah, I want some of that. So I thought, why not? Let's build one. And so we have a bunch of art here for like one of each of the classes, and I think each of the ancestries, or maybe not all of them actually, because there's only 9 classes and 12 ancestries, but we have quite a few of them here represented. So we're going to use some of these as inspiration. Now, a few days ago, I tried streaming, and I didn't hit the go live button, which was a bit embarrassing after 2.5 hours of building a 10th level character. So this time, and that time I made a shadow. I made this little guy, this little polar shadow. But at this time, I'm open to any kind of suggestions if anyone's anyone wants to shout it out or anything, or I can just pick from the rest of these beautiful characters. So now, yeah, let's see. We got some nice music going on back there in the background. All the credits for the art and the music are in the description there. So I'm looking at all these characters, all this art here, and what am I inspired by? I mean, all of it's amazing, right? We have a Hakan Null here, a Polder Shadow, I believe a Devil Censor, Orc Conduit, Miminek Fury, a Dragon Knight Tactician, a High Elf Elementalist, a Dwarven Talent, and a Time Raider Troubadour. I've actually played as the Time Raider Troubadour and the Polder before in either campaigns or in like a one-shot, sort of like a playtest. So what inspires me? All of them really inspire me. I really like all the art. It's all beautiful. I like so many aspects of them. Let's see. Hmm. I'm not sure what inspires me here. Actually, I'm gonna let some people know on Blue Sky that I am live here in just a moment. Oh my god, where do I get a link? Listen to that beautiful music as we do this. There we go. there's the shareable link. There we go. There we go. All right. I don't know why they have ads on this. I'm trying to... I'm delaying them as much as possible. I could not find where to shut them off. Sorry. This is the kind of stuff that I would have already had taken care of if I were a professional streamer in any capacity. All right. So what inspires me here with this? Which ones do we want to go with? Really like the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight is like, you know, exhaling some green stuff. That's really cool. What else? This orc, it looks really awesome. The sensor has some attitude. You see that raised eyebrow, whatever sigil is on her forehead. That's really cool. We got a whole bunch of them. The Time Raider. I know how to build a troubadour. That's for sure. I've played this character till 4th level. I'm pretty sure. And what inspires me tonight? Let's see.
Launch the Slayer.
Oh my god. Oops. What inspires me? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the Void Elementalist. Just looks like she needs some attention. She needs some love. She has a kind of worried expression on her face. So let's go with that. Let's go with the High Elf Elementalist, Void Elementalist. So here we have stall in this window, and then we have the rules here. And we're just gonna jump right into it. All right. So first, we need to think. Like, step one is obviously thinking about the character. Who, like, do you fight with the weapons, magic, psionics, or some combination of these abilities? Outside of combat, what do you want your hero to do well? And what did you do before you become a hero? Why do you choose becoming a hero? You know, all these types of questions, and I don't really know the answer to all these. It's like we just have the art, so we're looking at you know, someone who is a little worried about maybe some of her portals and things. So I'm not sure, but let's go down. Let's do some of the easier stuff first, instead of like the existential stuff. Ancestry. So we're looking at a high elf. So let's go down to the high elf ancestry. We of course have 2 different tabs open because that is smart. And I at least prepared for that much. So here's all the amazing fiction here on the high elf. So the high elf signature trait is high elf glamour. So we can use high elf glamour. So it reads, a magic glamour makes others perceive you as interesting and engaging, granting you an edge on presence test using the flirt or persuade skills. This glamour makes you look and sound slightly different to each creature you meet, since what is engaging to one might be different for another. However, you never appear to be anyone other than yourself. So it's not like an illusion, it's just a sort of I mean, I guess a glamour, yeah. That's what you would call it. So we then have 3 ancestry points that we can spend on these beautiful abilities right here. So we have, for 1 point, Graceful Retreat. When you take the disengage move action, you can shift 1 additional square as part of your move action. That's very useful, very useful. I see, Avoid Elementalist. It can be, like, very focus on movement and repositioning and things, and being able to shift 1 could be very useful. High Senses costs 1 point. You have senses that are keen and perceptive. You have an edge on intuition tests that use the awareness skill. Could be useful, could be useful. Revisit memory. Accessing memories is as easy as living in the present for you. You have an edge on all tests made to recall lore. Huh. Very good. Otherworldly Grace, your elf body, and this is for 2 points, your elf body and mind can't be contained for long. You succeed on saving throws when you get a 5 or higher. That's really useful. Wow. So that's now a 60% chance, right? Of, instead of a 50% chance of making saves. Unstoppable Mind, your mind allows you to maintain your focus in any situation. You can't be dazed. Yeah. Well, I really like this Otherworldly Grace. That would be very, very useful. And I like this one. Yeah, Graceful Retreat. You're hard to pin down. That's what I like about that one. Yeah. So I think we're gonna do Graceful Retreat and Otherworldly Grace. So we're very graceful, is what I'm getting. There we go. I see this high elf as someone who can do like flips and tricks and things into portals and stuff. So that would be that sort of makes sense for the character having all this stuff. It definitely starts to we're starting to get a better idea of who this person is. So now we go to culture, and that gives some benefits like the community you were raised in, language and skills and things. So let's go to culture and career. Okay. What are we feeling like with this one? Let's go back to the art here. We're looking at this one right here. This one. So we're looking at someone who is has a bunch of scrolls, very learned, right? Very the glasses and everything, very well kept, studious, I would say, bookish. So let's see how we can make this studious and bookish, this character. Nomadic, travel from place to place to survive. No, I'm not feeling it. Rural, small town, or yeah. No, I don't think so. I don't think secluded either. I think we're going urban because secluded. Wait a minute. Secluded culture is based in one relatively close quartered structure, building a cavern and so forth. Interacts with other cultures only rarely. Yeah, secluded could work for this one. Secluded could work for this character because we could be like, I don't know, secluded in a tower or something. Because I imagine that we are very, we're sort of, I see it as someone who's either in like a school of some kind or studies by herself or something. So maybe secluded would work. The high elf, like princess that was tucked away in a castle and just studied all the time. That'd be interesting. Or we could go with urban. You're in a big city, that kind of thing. Navigating crowds. I see. Yeah, I could see that. I don't see wilderness at all. I don't see wilderness, not from her outfit and everything. I'm seeing secluded or urban. Let's go secluded. Yeah, let's go secluded. And this is what our environment. Yeah. Oh, and look at we got this all right here. Secluded organization. Not seeing anarchic. I'm not seeing that. Bureaucratic, I could see. Bureaucratic, I could see if well, if you're tucked away in a castle, I don't know. How bureaucratic could you be? Communal. Of the three, I think it's probably bureaucrat. Well, communal. Hold on. Members of the collective are considered equal. The community works together. No, if she's tucked away in a castle and she's like a princess or something, that you're not considered equal, are you? So, let's go with bureaucratic. I think before all of this, before like how she learned how to do all of her magic stuff, I think was probably in her time being secluded. But before that, maybe she was in a very bureaucratic area. But I could also go communal because maybe the animals or whatever around her were, you're a very communal type. You know what I mean? Like you could be like all the creatures and stuff, all the monsters that are guarding the tower. Maybe it was a very communal type of environment. I think that's more interesting than bureaucratic. So let's go communal. And the upbringing. And my gut is telling me academic, but let's see. Creative. Raised around folks who create art or other works valuable enough to trade. A creative culture might produce fine art, such as dance, music, or sculpture, or more practical wares, such as wagons, weapons, tools, or buildings. People in such cultures learn the value of quality crafting and attention to detail. Maybe. Illegal, I don't see. Labor, I don't see. Martial, noble is the only other one that I think. Raised by leaders who rule over others and play the games of politics to maintain power. Many families are nobles by birthright, but some cultures have noble titles that are earned through deeds or popularity. Whatever the case, heroes with this background understand that why the whispered words in the right ear can sometimes be more powerful than any army. Nah, I'm thinking it's academic. Yeah, it's academic. There. And is this keeping track of how many skills I need? Oh, okay. Where do I find my skills? Skills. Here we go. Oh boy. We are going to keep track of these. So we got skills from each one of these. So environment, we did secluded. So we would get one skill from the interpersonal or lore skill. Let's go with the quick build because we don't need to worry about all that stuff. Interpersonal or lore, right? Is this? It's interpersonal that read person is, right? There. And then we also get one from communal, crafting or interpersonal. I say she might be able to read people very well, but if she's tucked away in a castle, I think she's probably better with monsters and animals and that kind of thing, right? So let's go with something from the which doesn't help us with crafting, obviously. Let's go with we could go with forgery. That'd be fun. Be a fun little layer into that. I do like mechanics, though. I do like mechanics. She looks like someone who could take apart a mech, you know? So let's go mechanics. That's just fun. Then we go to upbringing. We're an academic. So let's go to the lore. Skills. Criminal underworld, I don't think. Culture, I don't well, culture could, but I think playing her as, you know, playing into that being secluded type of thing, you know, that into that seclusion would be interesting. So maybe she doesn't know about other people's culture, maybe. History fits. I can see history, certainly magic, monsters. What was I just saying? Monsters, yeah. She knows monsters. She's friends with monsters, I think. So that's it. That's it for so far with culture. So next is culture. What is next? Career. All right. So scrolling right down to career. So we've kind of put ourselves in a bit of a box with being someone who is secluded away from everyone and stuck in a tower, right? So let's see. Agent. Work for a spy organization or government. It doesn't sound right for this character, but it could be. I don't know. Career. Who needs a career when you're born into money, or marry into it, or con your way into it? Aristocrat makes sense. Yeah. I like the idea that she can kind of pull from her wealth a little bit. I like that. Artisan, no. Beggar, no. Not criminal or disciple. Don't really make any sense. Explorer? No. Farmer? No. Again, this is someone who is, you know, stuck in a tower for most of her life and is just now, through some means, escaping and becoming an adventurer. So I don't think gladiator or laborer either. I don't think that now a mage's apprentice makes sense. For long years, you studied magic under the mentorship of a more experienced mage. Apologies. In defining your career, think about the following questions. Who did you study under? What were your mentor's areas of expertise? What aspects of magic did you struggle to comprehend? What is your current relationship with your mentor? I just had a thought, too. If she was stuck in a tower her whole life, it's interesting that we're now picking, just from the art, a void mage who can basically step between worlds very, very easily. I think that's an interesting point that we should maybe go back to through this build. So you get the magic skill, monsters, timescape, yeah. Okay, we already have monsters, but okay. Another supernatural perk, interesting. Performer, not so much. I think she's very introverted, so I don't think a performer makes any sense. Politician, no. A sage, okay. You dedicate yourself to learning, whether you share the knowledge with the world with others, or sought out secret lore only for yourself. And defining your career, think about the following questions. Who benefited from your research? What subjects did you study? Where did you do this? Okay, sage makes the most sense right now. Sage is the front runner. Yeah. Yeah, she was tucked away. Sailor, soldier, no. Warden, watch officer, no. Okay, yeah, it's Sage. It's gotta be Sage. Sage just makes the most sense, right? You gotta it just makes the most sense. To me, at least. So yeah, let's go Sage for career. stuff in here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Inciting incidents. We got 6 of them here. We have bookish ideas. You were always content to live a peaceful life in your library until you found that one book, the one that told the tales of heroes who had saved the timescape. They didn't spend their days behind a desk. They made a real difference. It was time for you to do the same. Cure the curse you used to think knowledge would fix everything, but you were wrong. When someone you loved fell under a curse, the means to cure them couldn't be found in any of the books you owned, but that wasn't going to stop you. The answers are out there. You can find them even if you have to face down death to do so. Lost Librarian Evil Mage took all your books for themselves, cackling at your impotence as they raided your shelves. Now you're off to search through ancient ruins and secret libraries to rebuild your collection of rare tomes and to find the mage who stole from you. I like that one. I also like the first one of like being inspired by other heroes. Maybe it's a combination of both. I'm not sure. Paper Guilt. While transcribing ancient texts, you and another scribe discovered a shelf of long-forgotten books. At your suggestion, your companion started work on one and vanished along with the tome. Your guilt drove you to seek your friend and prevent others from falling into similar dangers. Oh yeah, I like that. That she was secluded, but she had someone else, maybe a sibling or something. And then the sibling goes away, and she has to find the sibling. That's cool. That's cool. Unforeseen futures. In your pursuit of ancient knowledge, you discovered a prophecy that is yet to come to pass, and that prophecy involves someone who might be you. Since your discovery, strange dreams have plagued you, driving you to seek out your destiny. Vanishing. At first, you thought it was your imagination, and you brushed off the disappearance of random sentences in historical books. Then, as the books changed to entirely blank pages, the disappearances became difficult to ignore, particularly those involving ancient or critical text. Driven by the desire to preserve knowledge, you have made it your purpose to restore and reverse those vanishing texts before they forever disappear. A lot of these sound like campaign hooks, you know? They all sound like, I want to play this adventure, right? But I think being inspired by the heroes and then someone stole all your books. I think the 3 here are the bookish ideas, Lost Library and Paper Guilt. And I'm really thinking, Paper Guilt. Give her a little bit of, little guilt, little teeth here. A little bit more of a bite to it. This character. So, oh god, complications. All right. Actually, we need to go over the benefits that we get from being a sage. So, skills, 2 from the lore skill book, skill group. We have history and magic. I believe we might already get magic through Elementalist, but I could be wrong. But let's put that in there real quick. Yeah, let's just go magic and history. All right.
Open the door.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, now we're back on here. Sorry. So 2 skills from the lore skill group. 1 language. Oh god, languages. There's so many languages in this game. So many languages. So many beautiful languages. Let's... We'll worry about the languages in a bit, but let's first go... 1 language. Okay. Let's just put this in notes here. 1 language from Sage. There. Project points. Oh, geez. Where do those go? Doesn't seem to have a spot for them, but that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. We're not spending any project points anyway. You know what I mean? Then 1 lore perk. So let's go down to the perks here. Add a perk. Let's go down to perks. And take a look at what they have. Exploration, interpersonal... intrigue lore, here we go. But I know who does. When you fail a test to recall lore with a skill from the lore skill group that you have, you know the closest place where the information you seek with that test can be found. It could be a sage library or somewhere deep in a dungeon. The director determines the source's location. This makes a lot of sense for the character. You've studied, you know, she's studied a long, long time, so she knows things. Yeah, I like that. Edict of Memory. Your mind is an encyclopedia. Ooh, this has already got my attention. Though not always an easy one to organize. After finishing a respite, choose 1 skill from the lore skill. Choose 1 skill from the lore skill group. I'm guessing it should say you don't have. You gain that skill until you finish a respite. Additionally, if you spend at least 1 minute reading a page of text, you can memorize its contents. You can memorize entire books this way. This last line is exactly what we're looking for. So this one is the front runner as of right now. Expert Sage. That was my background, so that makes sense. Whenever you make a test as part of a research or crafting project that uses a skill you have from your lore skill group, from the lore skill group, you can roll the test twice and use either roll. Ooh, I like that. I've read about this place. When you enter a settlement you've never been to before, you can ask the director one of the following questions. The most influential public figure in the settlement. When this town would be friendly to us right now, and what does the settlement need most from outsiders? I like this because you're kind of an expert whenever you go into a local area and you're like, oh, I know, I've read about this place. I know all about this place. If the director does not have an answer to the question you ask, you can instead ask a different question. Linguist is all right. If you spend at least 7 days in a place where you regularly hear a language and you don't know spoken, you can pick up enough of that language to hold a conversation, though you still can't read it. After doing so, you can learn it twice as fast as normal. Additionally, you learn 2 extra languages you've heard before when you gain this perk. I don't see her as the charismatic or presence-based character, so I'm gonna say no for this one. But maybe she could. If it were like I can read a lot of different languages, that's a different story. Polymath. When you make a test to recall lore and don't have a skill that applies to the test, you gain a +1 bonus to the test. Ooh, I like that. So you have a +1 bonus to pretty much all your skill. All of your lore skills, I'm guessing. Specialist, you are a leading expert on a particular subject. Choose one skill you have from the lore skill group. You always have a double-edged on test made to recall lore that use this skill. Additionally, you have at least one major contribution to this field, such as the thesis, field guide, gazetteer, or even an ongoing newsletter you maintain. This contribution grants you notoriety in your field. You treat your renown as one higher with when negotiating with people you know of who know of your work, or two higher if they have the skill that you chose for this perk. I like this for the mechanical benefit, but I don't think story-wise it makes much sense. Unless she's like someone who is a monster expert and has a newsletter or something, and she doesn't have much contact with the outside world, and it can make her somewhat of a celebrity. That'd be interesting. Traveling Sage. On a day when you don't take a respite, you can spend an uninterrupted hour working on a research project that uses a lore skill you have. If you do so, you gain 1d10 points towards that project. Interesting. Interesting. I think it's gotta be the encyclopedia memory. Yeah. It just fits with the character, I think. There we go. Okay. So that was Sage, right? Yeah, so one language, one lore perk. Okay, cool. Now we are back on track here. We are going to our class. All right. And not complications. We have, where is it? Elementalist right there, right in front of my face. So, the Elementalist. Air for movement, earth for permanence, fire for destruction, water for change, green for growth, rot for death, void for the mystery. Years of study and practice and poring over tomes brought you the revelations that allow you to manipulate these building blocks of reality. Now you use your mastery of the 7 elements to destroy, create, and warp the world with magic. As an elementalist, you can unleash your wrath across a field of foes, put an enemy exactly where you want them, debilitate foes with harmful effects, ward yourself and allies against danger, manipulate terrain, warp space, and more. Your choice of elemental specialization determines which of these things you do best. All right. So I'm pretty sure we're going Void Elementalist, because that's fun. And that's kind of what the art has for us, right? So starting characteristics, you start with a reason of 2. All right, let's go up here. Let's get up here. We have these stats here. A reason of 2. And you can choose one of the following arrays for your other characteristic scores. So, I'm thinking intuition is probably the next one. That's got to get a 2. And so we can't go with that, the bottom, the 1110. So I think we should probably go, maybe she's strong. I think that'd be fun if she were strong but not obviously like socially strong, you know. I don't think she's great at interacting with people because she has lived by herself for a very long time, or at least with that one the person, whoever was there. So I think presence is going to have to be a -1. Agility I could see being high. What kind of things do you use? Which stats, right, for your power rolls in this? I don't want to reason. Okay, cool. Nice. So yeah, reason is 2. Presence is definitely -1. We could go with this first one, and we could make intuition 2, and agility 2, and then might is also -1. I like that. I like that. Reason. Okay, so that's your potencies. Your starting stamina is, where is stamina? Is 18. Stamina gained at higher levels. Last time I did this, I didn't really keep track of the stamina and higher levels. It was just too much to sort of. We don't want to get too far in the weeds. You gain the magic skill. Okay, so we knew that. So we already had the magic skill. That's fine. And choose any 3 skills from the crafting or lore. Crafting or lore. I saw, what was it? Forgery could be cool to have. I think forgery's fun. Any 3 skills from crafting or lore. Okay. Forgery we already have. Lore, history we already have. Crafting, jewelry also felt interesting to take. I think that'd be cool. And then one more skill from crafting or lore. Cooking. She would cook for all the monsters. I think that'd be cool. Really cool. Okay. So now we got to pick our specialization. We're going with Void, I think, because that's what the art has. You have a bunch of portals all around her. That looks so cool. This portal. There are a few other ones that are sort of hidden. But yeah, so Void Elementalist. Let's go over to class. Void. Heroic resource is essence? Yeah, essence. Let's get all of this essence stuff here. Plop it in there. I love the Void Elementalist in the 10th level adventure. Wadash, the Dragon Knight one. Insane abilities. So cool. Too cool, really. So... Yes, we are a Void Elementalist, an Acolyte of the Mystery. You gain this feature if Void is your specialization, using your immersion in the mystery of the Void magic to hold onto your magic longer than other mages. The distance of all of your ranged Void magic abilities increases by 2. Oh, that's cool. Acolyte of the Mystery. There we go. We already have essence here, but let's go over it. At the start of a combat encounter or other stressful... at the start of combat, you get essence equal to your victories. At the start of your turn, you gain 2 essence. You also gain 1 essence the first time in a round that you or a creature within 10 of you takes damage. That isn't untyped or holy. Cool. Makes sense, makes sense. And then outside, you can use certain abilities. I believe... relative to how many victories you have, but I could be wrong on that. Whenever you use an ability or effect outside of combat that costs essence, you can't use that same ability or effect outside of combat again until you gain at least one victory or finish a respite. Cool. All right. So Hurl Element is our first ability. And Hurl Element is so useful, I feel like. It is a ranged free strike. Doesn't cost anything. You cast a ball of elemental energy at an unsuspecting foe. Action, distance, ranged 10. Target one creature or object. Add a power roll. So we're dealing some damage here. So we're just easy, you know, nothing much to it. But here's the juicy stuff right here. Add effect. When you make the strike, choose the damage type from one of the following options: acid, cold, corruption, fire, lightning, poison, or sonic. So you can change up the damage type because you're good with that stuff. Persistent magic. Getting into this now. I don't have a great understanding of how persistent magic works, other than you can make the effect of something last, but you basically what is it? You have to spend the resource if it does cost resource. Let's find out together. Some of your heroic abilities have a persistent effect entry. For example, the instantaneous excavation ability has an effect noted as persistent 1. Whenever you use a persistent ability, you decide whether you want to maintain it and start doing so immediately after you first use the ability. If you maintain a persistent ability in combat, you reduce the amount of essence you earn at the start of your turn by an amount equal to the ability's persistent value, which enables the ability's persistent effect. All of your active persistent abilities end at the end of the encounter, so you can have multiple going. I think you can't maintain any abilities that would make you earn a negative amount of essence at the start of your turn, or have a negative amount of essence outside of combat. You can stop maintaining any ability at any time, no action required. If you maintain the same ability on several targets and the effect includes a power roll, you make that roll once and apply the same effect to all targets. A creature can't be affected by multiple instances of a persistent ability. If you take damage equal to or greater than 5 times your recent score in one turn, you stop maintaining any persistent abilities. For instance, if you have a recent score of 2 and are maintaining instantaneous evacuation or excavation, not evacuation, that's a different kind of mage. Taking 10 or more damage in one turn causes you to stop maintaining the ability. Gotcha. Understood. Let's put that in there. Hello, Joe. How are you? We're just building a Void Elementalist tonight. High Elf Void Elementalist. Just copied some of this stuff in here. All right. So we have practical magic. Oh gosh, the volume is low. Oh no. Let me crank that up. Is that better? The music's supposed to be a little low, but yeah, let me know if that's any better. Okay, practical magic would be a maneuver that would go in your abilities here. There we go. Your mastery of elemental power lets you customize your conjurations. Interesting. And this is sort of like a little a thing that you kind of just throw this out. It's a good maneuver because it's I feel like with some of the spellcasters, you need something that you can do on your turn that just kind of works in addition to maybe your action that would cause like a lot of damage. So you can do the knockback maneuver, but its distance becomes the range of your hurl element ability, and you use reason instead of might for the power roll. You choose a creature within the distance of your hurl element ability and deal damage equal to your reason score to them. The damage type can be acid, cold, corruption, fire, lightning, poison, or sonic. And then you teleport up to a number of squares equal to your reason score. Oh gosh. The target is self. Effect. There. Okay, so then we get another specialization feature. If we're going void, we get a beyonding vision. You instantly recognize illusions for what they are. You can see invisible creatures, and supernatural effects can't conceal creatures and objects from you. You always know if an area or object you observe is magical or affected by magic, and you know the specifics of what that magic can do. You also gain the following ability, Shared Void Sense. You grant allies a taste of your unearthly vision. So this is, for each victory you have, you can target one creature. That creature gains the benefit of your beyonding of vision feature until the end of your next turn, but doesn't gain the use of Shared Void Sense. Oh, that's cool. That is cool. You give them a little view into the void. And that will go under, yeah, I guess over here. Maneuvers. The Void Elementalist is so cool with how they can use portals and everything. You really do feel like Doctor Strange, you know? So cool. The target must be special. That's what it says. All right. So all that is those other specializations. So we get for specialization triggered action. We are the void, so we get a subtle relocation. You call on the void to swallow and spit out an ally. That's cool. You teleport. Okay, so it's range 10, self or one ally. The target takes their turn, or starts their turn, moves, or is force moved. You teleport the target up to a number of squares equal to your reason score. If the target moves to trigger this ability, you can teleport them at any point during the move. And if you spend one essence, you teleport the target up to a number of squares equal to twice your reason score. Instead, that's cool. Let's add that ability here. You call on the void to spit out, to swallow and spit out an ally. That's really cool. Love the flavor text in this. a triggered action, distance, range 10. I can really see myself using Stall, which is the software that we're using here at the website, from the amazing John Denor. I can see myself using this for characters. I've been using just PDFs so far. And they are not as nice as this. This is easy, and you save it, and you can access it wherever, from your phone, from wherever. It's really good. Enchantment. Oh boy, there are so many choices. There's so many choices. So enchantment. You weave an elemental enchantment into your body that enhances your statistics. You can change your enchantment along with your ward by performing a complex ritual as a respite activity. So yeah, this is basically your kit. Enchantment of Battle. You tap into the elemental mysteries to gain the mind and training of a warrior. You can wear light armor and wield light weapons effectively even if you don't have a kit. While you wear light armor, you gain a +3 bonus to stamina, and that bonus increases by 3 at 4th, 7th, and 10th levels. While you wield a light weapon, you gain a +1 damage bonus with weapon abilities, including free strikes. You can use light armor treasures and light weapon treasures. If you have a kit, you can't take this enchantment. Does not sound like her. Does not sound like this this high elf. Enchantment of I thought it said celery for a second. Enchantment of celerity. Okay. That's a word that I don't know. You infuse your body with the speed of elemental air. You gain a +1 bonus to speed and to the distance you shift when you take the disengage move action. Again, another thing that buffs our disengage move action. That would be good to have. I like that. Enchantment of destruction. You harness the destructive power of flame inside your mind, allowing you to focus your magic on destroying your enemies. You gain a +1 bonus. +1 rolled damage bonus with magic abilities. That's cool. Enchantment of distance. You reach into the mysteries of the void and mix that element with all your abilities. You gain a +2 bonus to the distance of your ranged magic abilities. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the one. Enchantment of permanence. You place the magic of earth into your flesh and bones, making your body tougher and harder to move. You gain +6 stamina. A +6 bonus to stamina, and this bonus increases by 6 at 4th, 7th, and 10th levels. Additionally, you gain a +1 bonus to stability. It's got to be the distance, right? Yeah, it's got to be the enhancement of distance. It's going to be a class feature. Enhancement of distance. Yeah, being able to reach a little bit further is going to really be great for this build. And it's also it also makes sense because, she's a void mage, right? And now we get a ward. So we get an enchantment, and we also get a ward with this class. I believe that's also true for the talent. And I'm not sure the other ones that might get that. I know not the troubadour. Okay. Create an invisible elemental ward that protects you. Choose one of the following wards. You can change your ward along with your enchantment by performing a complex ritual spell as a respite activity. Okay. Ward of Delightful Consequences. A protective shield or a field of void magic. Absorbs violence aimed at you, then lets you hurl it back at your enemies. The first time each round that you take damage, you gain a surge. Oh, I like that. Getting surges, yeah. Word of Excellent Protection. A protective shield you weave around yourself is made of all the elements to channel their full protective power. You have immunity to acid, cold, corruption, fire, and lightning damage equal to your reason score. Ooh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, that might be it. Ward of Nature's Affection. You store green energy within your body that allows you to produce powerful vines when you're in danger. Whenever a creature within a number of squares equal to your reason score deals damage to you, you can use a free triggered action to slide that creature up to a number of squares equal to your reason score. I like that. I like that. It's definitely that feels like a void thing. I know they talk about green energy, but you know. Ward of Surprising Reactivity. You use the magic of fire to create an invisible ward of explosive fire energy. Whenever an adjacent creature deals damage to you, you can use a free triggered action to push that creature a number of squares equal to twice your reason score. Now, I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling the protection, the Ward of Excellent Protection. Yeah. Even just having that bonus is incredibly helpful. Like -2 to all that type of damage. Craziness. Craziness. Okay, let's go into the abilities. Signature abilities. I'm telling you, building a first level character takes a lot longer than the rest of the 9 levels. I swear, it takes so long. But it's still fun. It's still like you still get like you really get a well-rounded character out of it, even if it takes maybe a little bit longer. But this is also me, talking about each one of them. If I'm gonna build this like without streaming, it wouldn't take too long. Afflict a bountiful decay. Your curse causes a foe's flesh to rot off as spores that aid your allies. Oh, I like this. I like this. I think I've been on the other end of this before in one of my adventures. So you or one ally within distance can end one effect that is ended by a saving throw, or that ends at the end of that creature's turn. Cool. Bifurcated conflagration. 2 jets of flame lance out at your command. So this is targeting 2 people, and it would be 2, 4, 6 fire damage. That's cool. Grasp of Beyond. You absorb the life energy of another creature and use it to teleport. So you deal some corruption damage, and then you can teleport up to a number of squares equal to your reason score. That's useful. I like that. And the green within, the green without. Whipping vines erupt from a foe's body to grasp at another close by. You slide, so it's 1 creature, but in its range 10. You slide 1 creature within 10 squares of the target up to 2 squares. Ooh, that's cool. So yeah, you damage them, and then you bring someone else. You slide another creature around potentially closer to them, so you can get some good AoE action. I like that. A meteoric introduction. You give your enemy a gentle tap like an asteroid impact. And it's just damage and pushing them around. I like that. I like pushing people around. Ray of Agonizing Self-Reflection. I've seen this with several characters. Corruption damage and slowing them. Okay. Unquiet Ground. A sudden storm of detritus assaults your foes and leaves them struggling to move. Damage and then creating difficult terrain. And Vicious Fire. It's just fire damage and pushing them. I think the one I'm looking at here, I like the idea of being able to teleport around, so I think we're going to go with Grasp of Beyond. Where are the abilities? Should be down here somewhere. Here we go. We're going to have so many abilities on this character sheet by the end. These are signature abilities, yep. And it's melee 1, so I like that. It means you're getting up close and personal, and then you are getting out of there just as fast. Some corruption damage. We add the effect that you can teleport up to a number of squares equal to your reason score. And that gets crazy because I think that gets up to like 5. So you can go halfway across the battle map. So we get now 3 essence abilities. So these cost your heroic resource to use. Behold the mystery. You open a rift in the void to harry your foes. 3 cube within 10 at the start of your turn. There's some psychic damage, and then at the start of your turn, you can use a maneuver to use this ability again without spending essence, and that's after you persist. It's persist 1. Start of your turn, you can use this maneuver. Okay. Oh, wow. That's really cool. Yeah. Just start blasting them, right? Behold the mystery. I like it. The flesh, a crucible. Fire engulfs a target of your choice and burns at your command. It's just fire damage, and then if you have quite a bit of fire damage, and then if you persist, if the target is within distance, you can power roll for this ability. And this is just the start of your turn. You make a power roll for this ability again. That's cool. Invigorating growth. Mushrooms erupt from a foe, sapping their vitality to spread strengthening spores. Range 10. Mushrooms cover there's some poison damage, and then mushrooms cover the target's body and can be removed by the target or an adjacent creature as an action. While the mushrooms are on the target, you and each of your allies adjacent to the creature or to the target gains surge whenever the target takes damage. That's really cool. You're like creating a battery of surges. That's really cool. Ripples in the earth. Like a stone dropped in a pond, waves in the earth radiate from you. It's an area. It's a 2 burst from you. Some damage, potentially proning someone, and then you must be touching the ground to use this ability. So no flying. Choose a square of ground in the area that is unoccupied or unoccupied by you or an ally. A pillar of earth that is 1 square wide and long and is up to as many squares tall as your reason score flies out of the ground. The pillar can't collide with any creatures or objects, nor can it force any creatures being raised by it to collide with any other creatures or objects. Interesting. Okay. Let's go with... I really like Behold the Mystery, so I think that's what we're going to go with. I really like Behold the Mystery. Oh, hello, DM Hub. How are you? Good to see you in the chat here. Glad to hear that my audio sounds all right. I've had audio problems in the past with editing and stuff, so I hope it's all right. Let's add a power roll here. Modifier of reason. Just some psychic damage. Gonna melt their minds with this one. Add effect. It is persistent. Persistent 1. You get to do it all over again at the beginning of your turn, as long and without spending essence. That contradicts what they said about persistence in like earlier in the class, but I like that. Rule of exceptions, right? So, and then we get 5 essence ability. So, conflagration. A storm of fire descends upon your enemies. Oh boy, 3 cube within 10 area. Nice. That's definitely some fire stuff. Some fire damage, and at the start of your turn, you can use you can use a maneuver to use this ability again without spending essence. Ooh. But you got to get. I think that's 2 turns later. I could be wrong. I haven't played as an elementalist. Conflagration, fire. I like that. Instantaneous excavation. Oh boy, this is the mole hole ability. You open up 2 holes with 2 square openings that are 4 squares deep, and which can be placed on any mundane surface within distance. You can place these holes next to each other to create fewer holes with wider openings. When the holes open, make a separate power roll for each creature on the ground above a hole and small enough to fall in. You can't get a critical hit with this power because it uses a maneuver. Ooh, that's good that they put that in parentheses. So basically, you're putting people in holes, but that's this ability. Yeah, it's or they're sort of shifting away from the hole, and then if you persist on it at the start of your turn, you can open up another hole, rolling a power against any creature that would fall into the hole when it opens, which is the textbook, the mole hole. If you haven't seen the Fall of Black Bottom adventure, go watch it, because there was a crazy orc named the Mole and did this all the time, and it was craziness. And for that reason, I can't take it, and because it's not. Oh, it's better now. Okay. Oh, okay. No more than a breeze. The material substance of a creature shreds away at your command. That sounds awesome. Until the start of your next turn, the target can move through solid matter, ignores difficult terrain, and their movement can't provoke opportunity attacks. If the target ends their turn inside solid matter, they are shunted out into the space where they entered it, and this effect ends. Ooh. Ends their turn. Okay, so you're basically turning them into a ghost. That's really cool. Yeah, and it's self for 1 ally. That makes sense. That's interesting. I'm not sure. That's a very voidy type of thing. Yeah, well, it's a keyword avoid. Maybe you should just read it, you know? Test of Rain. You call down rain that burns your enemies and restores your allies. I've seen this before. Yeah, 3 cube within 10. And someone can end an effect, right? Yeah, and deal some acid damage to enemies, and you and each ally within the area can end 1 effect that is ended by a saving throw or that ends at the end of that creature's turn. That would be good if No More Than a Breeze had not existed. I think also Conflagration is good. We're dealing psychic damage. We already have a damage dealing thing for our 3 cost, right? That's our 3 cost? Yeah. Let's do more damage. Let's do it. Let's do Conflagration. Yeah. 5 essence. A storm of fire descends upon your enemies. Incredible. Area fire magic ranged. Oh. It's a little AoE, you know, you want to do a little razzle dazzle, you know. And with all this teleporting people around, you want to be able to then, you know, put them in advantageous positions so that you can do AoE stuff. All right. Add an effect. Persistent 2. And at the start of your turn, you can use this You can use a maneuver to use this again with no cost. So it's like a snowball, you know, moving down, you know, building up. I like it. Okay, we have now leveled up to level 2. It's an hour and 18, and we just did the first level. So, I mean, it takes a bit for first level just because you have so many more things. You have your culture and career and all that stuff. Yeah, but I think the next ones will go by pretty quickly. Um, so we have second level specialization feature. There is no space between is the void one. There is no space between. You get a maneuver, okay. Knowledge of the mystery reveals two spaces are the same space. Oh, this is the portal opening one. Okay, cool. You open two size 1 portals in unoccupied spaces in range, which last until you move beyond distance from any portal, end the effect as maneuver, or are dying. Each portal must be placed at a height of no more than 1 square above the ground. When you or an ally touch a portal, that creature can choose to be instantly teleported to an unoccupied space of their choice within 1 square of the other portal. If an enemy is force moved into a portal, their force movement ends as they emerge from the other portal in an unoccupied space chosen by the creature who force moved them. At the start of each of your turns, while the portals are active, you can open a new portal connected to the others. If 3 or more portals are persistent, you and your allies choose which portal you emerge from when you enter a portal, and a creature who force moves an enemy into a portal chooses that enemy's destination portal. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. It makes perfect sense for a void mage to be able to open up portals and play with portals, because there is no space between. It is a maneuver. Maneuver, range 10. I didn't know that the Void Mages got this at second level. I thought it was a first level ability. But it makes sense because it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy for a first level. I mean, it's pretty crazy if you're used to, you know, D&D, all that type of stuff. Second level, being able to open portals like that. Super cool. All right. So that is... Oh, no. We get one more 5 cost. Cool. And it is dependent... Is it dependent on your subclass? I don't believe it is, actually. Oh, alternatively, okay, so you can choose 1 heroic ability from the following options, each of which cost 5 essence to use. Alternatively, you can choose one of the 5 essence abilities you didn't select at first level. I didn't know that about this. Wow. That seems... That's really, really cool, actually. Oh, Flower Aid. Oh, Earth Defend. Revitalizing plants and jagged stones grow, helping allies and hindering foes. 3 cube within 10. Maneuver. You can make the area... basically a recovery hotspot. Difficult terrain for enemies. And it takes if any enemies step into the space, they take some damage equal to your reason score. Nice. If you persist, the area remains until the start of your next turn. You can move the area up to 5 squares as a maneuver. This ability ends if you lose line of effect on the area. Ooh, nice. Okay. I kind of like that, but we have some shifty stuff going around. I do like the AoE stuff, but let's see. Subvert the green within, burrow into their brains, and take control. I like that. Range 10. 1 creature, the target uses their signature ability against a target of your choice. You then make a power roll against the target of this ability. Ooh. Wait. The target uses their signature ability against a target of your choice. Oh my god. You then make a... That sounds... Yeah, I like that. You make a power roll against the target of this ability. The target... Oh my gosh. And they just do it. That's That's nuts. And then you actually damage them. One creature, yeah. That sounds really cool. Translated through flame, your ally disappears and then reappears at a burst of fire. The target is teleported to another space within distance. Make a power roll that targets each enemy adjacent to the target's new space and deals some fire damage. I like this, though. This works for, Void. Yep, makes sense. Volcanoes embrace. Wrap them in fire and melting stone. It's an action, range 10. One creature, you're dealing some fire damage and potentially restraining them. I like that. I think it's got to be, though, translated through flame. Your ally disappears and then reappears at a burst of flame. So it already sounds cool, so why not? Action, ranged 10. And that helps to get people out of a bind, certainly. Then let's add a power roll. Using reason. Beautiful. And now we're third level. See, we're just going right through these levels now. Your elemental specialization grants you a feature shown on this chart. Distance is only a memory. Let's go up to these. Distance is only a memory when you... Distance is only a memory. When you finish a respite, you can add a two-way portal that leads to any place you have previously been. Of course. Here it is. Here it is. We're getting to the nonsense here. Your allies can pass through the portal, which remains open for 1 hour or until you dismiss it as an action. Wow. I mean, this makes moving really, really easy. That's really cool. That is really cool. Now we get our seven essence ability. Erase. With a flick of the wrist, you phase creatures out of existence. Sounds very voidy. Sounds very voidy. Range 10. Target special. You have to target special people. The number of creatures you target with this ability is determined by your power roll. Okay, so that's an interesting use of the power roll. Each target begins to fade from existence. Save ends while fading from existence. A target initially takes a bane on power rolls. At the end of their turn, they have a double bane on power rolls. At the end of their second turn, they fade from existence for 1 hour, reappearing in their original space or the nearest available space. That's really cool. You could just end the encounter, essentially. Just have them phase out for a little bit. If you're in a real bind, you know. Maw of the Earth. You open up the ground, unleashing a shower of stone and debris. 3 cube within 10. 1 creature or object. Why would it be 1 creature or object? The ground in or directly beneath the area drops, lowering 3 squares. That might be... that should mean probably all creatures in the area, maybe. But I could be wrong. I could be reading it wrong. Yeah. Swarm of spirits. Guardian animal spirits surround you to harry your foes and bolster your allies. We're looking at a 3 aura. Each enemy in the area deals some damage with a reason power roll until the effect is until the end of your next turn. Each ally in your aura has their characteristic scores in... Okay. Yeah, this is the nonsense. Until the end of your next turn. Each ally in your aura has their characteristic scores increased by 1 for the purpose of resisting potencies. Oh, okay. And has a +1 bonus on saving throws. I thought it was just going to be for every reason. But nope. Still cool, though. Persistent 1, you make the power roll again to target each enemy in the aura, and the effect lasts until the start of your next turn. Okay. Doesn't seem very voidy, but that's fine. Wall of Fire. I wonder which subclass this goes to. A blazing, beautifully organized inferno erupts at your command. Still not clear. Maneuver. It's a 10 wall within 10. And the wall lasts until the start of your next turn and can be placed in unoccupied squares. Creatures can enter and pass through the wall. When an enemy enters or starts their turn in a square of the wall, they take fire damage equal to your reason score. Oh my god. Yeah, makes sense. Yep, that's a controller. That's a textbook controller ability. The effect lasts until the start of your next turn, and you can add a number of squares to the wall equal to your reason score. The effect lasts until the start of your next turn. Yeah, if you persist, yeah. Wow. And it gets bigger. It gets bigger the longer that you persist on the wall. That's nice. I think the Wall of Fire might be good. But Erase seems really cool. Erase is weird, and thus we must take it. I like the idea of just sort of phasing people out of existence just for a little bit. That sounds like a very null thing to do. If you've watched that 10th level adventure, you know that the alloy does that constantly, erasing people from existence. Spoiler alert. You can only target special people with this ability. Let's go with an effect first. A reason power roll. And then even more to the effect. Here we go. I like that there are layers to this ability too, like there are stages to it. So it's not just, oh, snap them out of existence. It is, the clock starts ticking, you know? Okay, 4th level abilities. Okay, so okay, here we go. Yeah, now we're cooking. A characteristic increase. Your reason score increases or becomes 3. You can increase one of your characteristic scores by 1 to a maximum of 3. I think intuition, right? Yeah, intuition. Intuition's got to be intuition. Font of Essence. When you gain essence from a creature within 10 squares of you taking damage that isn't holy or untyped, you gain 1 additional essence. Ooh. Oh, from the damage thing. Yeah. You gain 1 additional essence. That's really cool. I'm not going to note down all these different things, but they are definitely cool. So we get a specialization effect, and we have Veiling Bed. If you have 3 or more essence and you aren't dying, you exude an aura of magic. The area of effect of the aura is equal to your reason score. The effects of the aura are based on your specialization as shown in that table. Oh my god, yeah. When you have a 3 or more essence and aren't dying, you have an aura. And for the void ones, the area is concealment for you and your allies. That's really cool. That is cool. All right, we get a perk here at 4th level. Any one perk. Let's see what they are. Let's look. Crafting we might do. Just looking through. Or let's go to lore first. Let's go to lore. There was another one that I liked about this from the lore one. A traveling sage. Yeah, I like that. That's the one where you gain an additional like project points towards a different project. Which one did we take? Okay, we did the Encyclopedia Brain. I think to back up the Encyclopedia Brain, I think we need But I Know Who Does as a perk. Because if I don't know, I still know who might know. You know? Okay. So there's that perk. Done. Oh my god, is that... yeah, okay. So that is... And then we get one skill of our choice. Add a skill. Like the idea of alchemy. Escape artist would be a little weird since you know, we're stuck in a castle for so long. Handle animals makes sense. Yeah, let's go handle animals. Yeah. We were definitely like a textbook princess in a tower type thing. And that was the kind of situation that we were in, and we were we were able to like talk with animals and stuff. That's a little like green elementalist actually, but we studied the void. All right, now we're 5th level. We're almost halfway done. All right. So we got a specialization feature here. Pierce the veil of substance. Okay. Solidity is merely a suggestion to you. Mundane barriers that are less than 1 square thick or less that are less than 1 square thick or less do not block your line of your sight or line of effect. Wow. Let me reread that again. Mundane barriers that are less than 1 square thick or less do not block your sight or line of effect. Okay, so there's this or less, and we should probably get it taken out, but that's fine. You can only see or have line of effect past 1 such barrier at a time. Okay. Yeah, so you can see through walls. That's cool. Additionally, mundane walls, rather, that are only 1 foot thick, or 1 square thick. Additionally, whenever you use a void ability, you or an ally within distance of the ability can teleport a number of squares equal to your reason score. That's nonsense. I don't like it. That's nonsense. I would love that as a player, but I'm pretty sure that that was used in the 10th level adventure, and it was nonsense. Complete nonsense. Whenever you use a void ability, you or an ally within distance of the ability can teleport a number of squares equal to your reason score. Okay, yeah, meh. As a director, it's very annoying because you work so hard just to pin these characters down. But as a player, my God, that's such a boon. And then we get a 9 essence ability. Combustion deferred. Your flames dance from kindling to kindling to kindling. Okay, it's a ranged attack. 1 creature. Quite a bit of fire damage. And when the target ends their next turn or dies, each enemy adjacent to them takes fire damage equal to twice your reason score and gains this effect. Oh my God. When the target ends their next turn or dies, each enemy adjacent to so they're on fire, and then they explode with fire, and that fire spreads to other enemies, presumably, and then they also get this effect. So the fire just spreads. Yeah, your flames dance from kindling to kindling to kindling. That's amazing. Storm of sands. Dirt and debris start to swirl in a dark, pulsing hurricane. It's an area effect of 4 cube within 10, dealing some damage. 257. And the effect is the area is difficult terrain for your enemies until the start of your next turn. You and your allies are concealed while within the affected area. And if you choose to persist, the area persists until the start of your next turn. You can move it up to 5 squares. During your turn, you can roll power again as a maneuver without spending essence. That's really cool. So you just keep hitting them with that damage. It's not a whole bunch, but it's still enough, and it's hard for them to get out of it because it's a 4 cube and it's also difficult terrain. Dang. I like that. That's another great controller ability. Subverted perception of space. It's This is definitely a void one. You rip an enemy's world in twain. You rip an enemy's world in twain. That's so evocative. Oh my god. Ranged 10. One creature or object. They get some corruption damage. Tier 2, the target can't have line of effect. No. Nonsense. They use the... I've been on the other end of this one for sure. The target can't have line of effect to targets 5 or more squares away until the start of your next turn. And corruption damage, this is for tier 3 now. Corruption damage, the target can't have line of effect to targets 2 or more squares away until the start of your next turn. Nonsense. Nonsense. They're basically essentially blinded by the void, I guess. And if you persist, the effect lasts until the start of your next turn. Wow. That sounds amazing. Web all that have come before. Threads you've been weaving through your adventures fray into vibrant, pearlescent web. I really like this. You deal, it's 4 cube within 10, all enemies some damage and restraining them, potentially depending on their agility. And then the effect is the affected area becomes difficult terrain until the start of your next turn. Okay, an enemy who ends their turn in the area are restrained, save ends. Wow. So if you willingly go in there, there's no potency. You just get restrained. And if they end their turn in there, so you can just keep pushing people in there. That's awesome. Persistent 1, the affected area persists until the start of your next turn. Cool. I like the web. I like this because I like this text. Threads you've been weaving through your adventures fray into vibrant, pearlescent web. I like the idea that maybe where they intersect and things, it looks like scenes from the campaign. I like that. Or maybe scenes from the future. Who knows? Yeah, we're using that one. That's dope. This is an ungodly amount of essence. 9 essence. Jesus. All right. 4 cube within 10. 4 cube within 10 is a big area. And then it's also, I think it's then also 12 because we have a +2 to range stuff. So yeah, that's nuts. I'm telling you, 10th level heroes are like gods. And this is just the start of it, really. This kind of stuff right here. Nonsense. Erasing people from time. That's craziness. That's craziness. There we go. Incredible. Okay, now we are 6th level. We get another perk. Crafting, lore, or supernatural perk of your choice. Let's go to supernatural. I saw this earlier. I like the familiar. I think we're going to keep this. The idea that maybe the character has a little friend, a little animal that is representative of like the tower where she left. I like that. So I think we'll keep that one. Wherever the perks are. We have so many abilities right now. Nuts. Perks, there we go. There we go. We get familiar. Okay. 6th level feature. So we get a perk. We get weirding. Oh boy. You can spend 10 minutes to create a freeform magical weird. for a variety of situations. Choose one of the following magical effects. You create a mundane object of a size equal to your reason score. Of a size equal to your reason or smaller. Jesus, they can just make stuff now. They can just make stuff. Give them 10 minutes, they can make like a whole statue. They could build a house. That's insane. That's insane. You can make another tower to be a recluse in. You construct a place of shelter that lasts for 24 hours and cannot be detected by enemies. Wow. Cannot be detected by enemies. Wow. You could make another tower. You restore all stamina to a mundane object of a size to a mundane object to a size of a size equal to your reason or smaller. So there's that familiar. You fill or clear, I guess it's a spirit, so I guess maybe it wouldn't apply. You fill or clear an area within 5 with difficult terrain or natural phenomena, such as fire, water, or plant life, in a cube equal to your reason or smaller. That's cool. You preserve a corpse, or up to 5 pounds of food for a week, or cause it to instantly rot. Ooh, I like the going either way. I like that. You create a seal on a surface that can't be seen or felt by anyone but you. When a creature comes within 10 squares of the surface, you can see and hear through the seal. Whoa. For as long as the creature remains within 1 square of the seal. So you can just create like an eye. When you create the seal, you can decide to limit the number of creatures who activate it by choosing a creature keyword, such as undead, or a specific name, such as Ajax the Invincible, or organization such as the Black Iron Pact. The seal only alerts you when creatures with the keyword name or organizational affiliation you provide pass by it. If you create a second seal, the first one disappears. You can dispel a seal as no action. That is really cool. I could see, a spy organization using something like that. That's awesome. A 9 essence ability, another one. Luminous Champion Aloft, which has been used many times. You basically create an angel out of one of your heroes. So it's self or 1 ally. The target's speed increases by 3 and gains the fly keyword, and their abilities ignore concealment. Additionally, the target receives 1 additional heroic resource whenever they gain 1 or more. These effects last until the start of your next turn, and if you persist, the effects persist until the start of your next turn. So at the start of your next turn, you can make it persist for another turn. I haven't heard this one. Magma Titan. Their body swells with lava, mud, and might towering over their enemies. Wow, this is a maneuver. Self or 1 ally. Until the start of your next turn, the target gains the following effects. Their size and stability increases by 2. Wow. Any size 1 targets become size 3. You slide each creature that is within the target's new space to the nearest unoccupied space. If the target doesn't have space to grow, they grow as much as they can and become restrained until the effect ends. The target gains fire immunity 10. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is the name. Magma Titan makes sense, yeah. The target strikes deal additional fire damage equal to twice your reason score. Wow. The target strikes deal extra... Oh my god. Wow. When they force move a creature or object, they can increase the damage by, or the distance by 2. Wow. Yeah, they're just they're just a magma titan. Casually a magma titan. That's all. Wow. They can use their highest characteristic in place of might or for might power rolls. Nonsense. More nonsense. And this is only 6th level. Christ. They can use their highest characteristic in place of might for might power rolls. Oh, I just read that. Sorry. In Persistent 2, the creature can spend 2 recoveries at the start of your turn. The effect persists until the start of your next turn. Well, we might have to just go with that. We might just have to go with that one. That's amazing. You teleport the target. Like, imagine if you turned into that. This character turned into that big mighty Hulk. That's amazing. You teleport the target into the air and let the ground do the rest. Teleport 4 squares, 6 squares, 8 squares. If the target falls and takes damage as if their agility score were 0 immediately after being teleported. The damage they take from falling is fire damage. Yeah, makes sense. Meteor. Yep. And you'd think with the title, with an ability named Meteor, you would expect, oh, you're summoning a meteor. No, you're turning an enemy into a meteor. That's way cooler. That's way cooler. The ground within 3 of where the target lands becomes a difficult terrain. Yeah, makes sense. Wow. It's having a hard time choosing between Magma Titan and Meteor. The Woad remembers and returns. You create a terrarium from canopy above to... Okay, you create a terrarium from canopy above to underbrush below. 4 burst special for targets. The affected area becomes dark and verdant, with trees and plant life appearing in unoccupied spaces within it until the start of your next turn. The affected area is considered difficult terrain for enemies. Okay, that's cool. Allies that end their turn in the affected area have cover. Wow. Persistent 2. Allies within the affected area can spend a recovery at the start of your turn. The effects persist until the start of your next turn. That's really cool. That's really cool. But it couldn't possibly beat Magma Titan. So, I mean, we gotta go with Magma Titan. Or Meteor. Meteor is better for like a teleporty type of thing, for a Void Mage, because it does have the Void keyword. Yeah, it makes sense. Keywords make sense in this game. So I think we're gonna go with Meteor. Even though I want to become the Titan, that's for a Fire Elementalist, I'm pretty sure. But again, you could build a Void Mage with all Fire Mage abilities and call it good, and that's all perfectly like legal. It'd be really cool though to have. I want to play a Fire Mage next. That's the next one. Keywords we already did. Oh, yep. Okay. Keywords. I know. Action, distance, range 10. All right. I like the idea that you actually turn the enemy into the meteor. That's a subversion, that's for sure. All right. Okay. I think we are now at 7th level. Oh god. This is now tier or echelon 3 of play. And it's only gonna get crazier from here, folks. Characteristic increase. So your characteristics, all of your characteristics increase by 1 to a maximum score of 4. Nice. Mantle of Quintessence. You don't need Essence to keep your Mantle of Essence active. Outside of combat, you can choose whether to activate or deactivate your specialization's effects on the aura. Additionally, your Mantle of Essence now gives off a Dwemer that some word that fills the area and calms any tense air. Creatures in your aura have their starting patience increased by 1 during negotiations. You and allies have an edge on test made to handle animals within your aura. If you have 5 or more victories, the bonus to patience increases to 2, and tests to handle animals have a double edge. That's awesome, because that makes sense, because she spent most of her time with monsters and animals who protected the castle. That's really cool. Surging Essence. When you gain Essence at the start of your turn, you gain 3 Essence instead of 2. Wow. Skill increase. You gain 1 skill of your choice. And that's it for 7th level. They said we might need to take a break at 7th, you know? That's kind of what they were thinking. And they even gave you the ability to drastically change how a negotiation would work. What are we looking at for skills? I think... Psionics would make sense. I'm going with psionics. 8th level features. We're almost done, folks. We're almost there. We've almost reached our final form. You get a perk of your choice. Okay, let's go through another perk. Supernatural perk. Let's go through another one. Thing Speaker. Someone in one of my games somewhere, one I think that I played in, had Thing Speaker, and it was really cool. So yeah, I think we're gonna go with that one because it's just so cool. Let me read it to you all. Perks, perks, perks. First, let me get to the perks here. Thing Speaker. When you hold an object in your hand, you can ask the director if it bears emotional importance. Objects with emotional resonance could include treasured gifts, murder weapons, or personal keepsakes. If the answer is yes, the director tells you the most dominant emotion associated with the object, and you can spend 1 interrupted minute focusing on the object, at the end of which you can receive a vision which answers one of the following questions. What was the name of the person whose emotions are imprinted on this object? Why does this emotion linger on the object? How long has it been since this was held by the person whose emotions linger on it? And after asking one question, you can choose to delve deeper. You can ask one additional question from the list, after which you are overcome with emotions that do not belong to you. You take a bane on presence and intuition tests until you finish a respite. While you suffer this bane, you can't use this feature. I really like the push your luck bit in this. And the idea that, you know, her knowledge of these things, or anyone who has this perk, the knowledge of stuff has transcended to, like, being able to literally suss out the objects themselves. That's really, really cool. Okay. Next. Now, you gain 1 skill. We already did that. Okay, cool. Oh, now we're on 8th level. Yeah, we just did the perk from 8th level. So, specialization feature. We get Black Hole Star. Sounds cool. You warp gravity around your heavenly body and can pull some of the sturdiest titans towards your core. At the end of each of your turns, you target 1 creature or object within distance of your hurl element ability and vertical pull the target up to 5 squares. Whoa. Wow. Just keep pulling people closer to you. Even if the stability would reduce this forced movement to 0, they are still pulled at least 2 squares. You can ignore the stability of willing allies with this forced movement. So yeah, a lot of forced movement, getting people into position. Controller, that's kind of the build. It's controller and then it's striker. When it's controller and then area of effect, really, and then a tiny bit of striker in there. Your Mantle of Essence also improves. All enemies and objects have their stability reduced by your level while they're in your aura. This was a nonsense ability, definitely in Against the Iron Tyrant, because I remember all of the creatures had basically no stability if they were near Uadash, who was the Void Mage. So this is just an ability, or a class thingy, wherever that is. There it is. Black Hole Star. Nonsense. There we go. Oh, they get a whole source of Earth. My God, they get a whole animal there. Heart. This is an 11. No, we get now an 11 essence ability. Heart of the Woad. You call forth one of the great tree's many splinters to provide for your every need. This Oh my god, a size 5 tree. A size 5 tree appears in an unoccupied space within range. The tree has 100 stamina and can't be force moved. When you or an ally start your turn with line of effect to the tree, that creature can end one condition or effect that has a duration of end of turn, or can be ended by a saving throw that is affected that is affect. Oh my god, hold on. And the saving throw that is affecting them or stand up from prone. You and all allies can. Oh, hello, Hazen V. We have so far a high elf void mage who was locked in a tower for a long time and then decided to be a hero after whoever they were locked in the tower with kind of got into trouble and vanished. But yeah, we're now on 8th level, so we're nearly done, and we're getting into the real nonsense of higher levels of this game. So yeah, Heart of the Woad. Let's start from the beginning. A size 5 tree appears in an unoccupied space within range. The tree has 100 stamina and can't be forced moved. When you or an ally start your turn with line of effect to the tree, that creature can end one condition or effect that has a duration of end of turn, or can be ended by saving throw that is affecting them or stand up from prone. You and all allies can touch the tree to use catch breath as a free maneuver. Any enemy who ends their turn within 3 squares of this tree are restrained until the end of their next turn. My god, and can use their action to end the effect early. That's nonsense. This is a nonsense tree. This is a nonsense tree, and I might need to pick it up. I'm not sure. That might need to be our ability. Not doing really magic items, no. I would also be interested in how they interact with 10th level, but that is beyond the scope of this character creation right now. Yeah, because there's a lot. Muse of Fire. The fire burns hot enough to sear the face of any god watching. Any god watching. Jesus. 5 cube within 10. All enemies. 7 fire damage. So yeah, fire damage and the director loses malice? This is... And the effect also says the director's malice can fall into the negatives thanks to this ability. This is the most nonsense. This is the most nonsense ability I've seen yet. That's craziness. You've dealt that much damage and then the director still loses malice? That's the one we're taking. I don't even need to know what these ones are. Let's see what they are. Let's see. Return to Oblivion. You create a tear in reality that could consume everything that slips inside of it. Range 10. You create a size 1L vortex that lasts until the end of the encounter. At the start of each round, all enemies within 5 of the affected area, while it is unoccupied, are vertical pulled towards it. Oh my god. An enemy who enters the vortex or starts their turn there is knocked prone. A non-leader, non-solo enemy who is winded in the vortex at the end of the round is instantly destroyed. This is another nonsense one. I really like this. This makes sense. This makes sense for the character. This makes sense more for like a... I'm telling you, this is a troubadour ability that has snuck in this Muse of Fire. But I like the Return to Oblivion. Just sort of a death spiral. The world torn asunder. You stomp your foot and quake the whole world over. It's a 5 burst. And you're knocking people prone. The effect is you create a fissure in a 10 by 2 line in the ground that is 6 squares deep within 1 square of you. Each creature in the area small enough to fall into the fissure who is not prone and can shift to the nearest unoccupied space of their choice, not in the fissure. Any other creature small enough to fit into the fissure falls. Wow. That's an earth one. Yep. So it's going to be Muse of Fire or Return to Oblivion. And I'm leaning towards Muse of Fire because it's nonsense. And if we want to show off what 10th level is, let's show off the nonsense that it is. That's craziness. Muse of Fire. You can reduce the malice of another of the director. If someone used that ability in one of my games, I don't know what I would say. I would be sad, but very impressed. Here is reason. I think all their roles are reason roles. Interesting. Add that last effect, that last nonsense effect. Oh my god. It can drop into the negatives. What is this? What have you created? Grand, so now we're 9th level. Grand Weirding. You have mastered that magic of the elements. You have mastered that magic of the elements and can use your weirding feature as an action. Additionally, when you have 5 or more victories, choose one of the following damage types. You have immunity to the you have immunity all to that type. Acid, corruption. So all of the spicy types of damage. So the weirding feature was from up here. Where is the weirding one? Here. You can spend 10 minutes and you can like create something. You can create a place of shelter, like a mundane object, a place of shelter, restore stamina to an object, fill an area with difficult terrain, and then you can create an eye that spies on people. So that's nonsense. So you can use that now as an action. Wow. And then you get an 11 essence ability. The earth rejects you. Everyone and everything gets blown away in a hail of rocks and debris. 5 cube, all enemies and objects. It takes some damage, and at the start of your turn, you can use this ability again as a maneuver without spending essence. Wow. The green defends. That might be good for Void, kind of getting people, or no, that's not doing that. That's just dealing damage, but still. The green defends its servants, a luminous green shield that shows its true beauty, the more it cracks. Huh. Self or range, self or one ally, you conjure an elemental shield that protects the target until the end of your next turn. While the ward is active, the target can take the defend action as a maneuver on each of their turns. Wow. The target gains 30 temporary stamina that lasts until depleted, or the ward is no longer active. When this temporary stamina disappears, the ward ends. When the ability ends, the ward explodes. Each enemy within 5 of the target takes 10 damage. You create a time bomb, a nature time bomb. The effect persists until the start of your next turn. Wow, yeah. Prism. In one act, you split your essence, allowing you to cast multiple effects at once. Okay, I already don't like this. You use up to 3 heroic abilities whose cost totals 11 essence or less. Other than spending essence to use this ability, you don't have to spend more essence to use those abilities. You can shift 2 between each ability. That's it. Prism is definitely going to be it, unless this one is even more nonsensical. You let fly a fierce missile, a fiery missile, braided with every primal element at your disposal. Okay. Range 10, 1 enemy or object, some fire damage, and dazed. And this damage ignores immunity. So, still nonsense, but not as nonsensical as Prism. It's got to be Prism. Got to be Prism. basically, oh my god, that's so amazing. Because then you get to pick and choose. I wish I had known about this ability as I was building, so that I could I could start doing math, but maybe that's too complicated. Oh my god. And then if you crit on any of these, I know it's epic. If you crit on any of those, you get another whole action. Nonsense. Nonsense. Okay. We're now at 10th level. 10th level. So your recent score becomes 5. Additionally, you can increase one of the characteristic scores by 1 to a maximum score of 5. So increase 1 to a maximum of 5. I think intuition. Yeah. Yeah. A crit could be devastating. Breath. You gain an epic resource called Breath. When you take a respite, you gain breath equal to your XP, to the XP you gain. You can spend breath to earn essence. No action required. When you do so, 1 breath is worth 3 essence. Oh my god. Breath remains until you convert it into essence. Jesus. Wow. Yeah, let's put that in the old class abilities here. Dang. I like that the name of this though. Breath. Sounds cool. It would go great with an air elementalist. Essential being. That sounds like a troubadour ability. I'm an essential being. I can't be killed. When you gain essence at the start of your turn, you gain 4 essence instead of 3. Okay, that is cool. That is cool. That would go under the essence thing, but we're not going to deal with that quite yet. 1. You become the embodiment of your chosen specialization element. When you are using magic, elemental motes of your chosen element flit around you, and your skin changes its appearance to reflect the element, taking on an earthen or stony appearance for earth, appearing like flickering flame for fire, gaining a leaf pattern for green, and becoming a starry expanse for the void. Do you think you could use 1 ability 3 times? For Prism? You use up to 3 heroic abilities whose cost totals 11 essence or less. I mean, I guess that's how I would rule it. Yeah, you could use 3 of the same ones. And then what if we have? What would we do? What would we do here? Heroic ability. You could just blast him with psionic energy, psychic energy. Conflagration. Just blast him with fire. There's no space between. You could do fun with portals. That's not a heroic ability. Translated through flame. You teleport people around constantly. Oh my god. That's in dire... If you're in dire straits and you need to teleport people around, you could do that. You could make a bunch of these ones. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. No, you could like with erase. You could then. Well, I guess you couldn't because it would be more than 11. So it would have to be something lower. There's the balance right there. Is probably 2 5s, and then that would be it, right? Or 3 costs. So you'd have to I'd have to rebuild this character to optimize it for that. But yeah, it's a crazy ability. So Master of the Void. Your movement gains the teleport keyword. Oh my god. Yeah. This was in the 10th level adventure, and it was nonsense. The teleport keyword, your mind is connected to the mystery and helps you find the answers you seek. You no longer require any project sources for research No. You no longer require any project sources for research projects. When you use a respite activity to perform a project role on a research project, you automatically complete the project. Oh my god. That's craziness. You just automatically do it. You just blip into the void, do the thing, and then come back. It's craziness. Craziness. Where were we putting this one here? Class abilities here. Master of Void. Dang. And then we get one final perk and one skill. Let's go over to skills. Are they up or down? Perks are right there. Skills. Let's go with 2 3s and a 5 could work. Yeah. Again, I'm not good with, math, just over mental math, I suppose. But if I'm playing this character, I would have to get good at math with all that nonsense. Oh my god, like a jigsaw puzzle. That ability. I'm thinking maybe society would be good, or strategy. Timescape. Timescape is the one. Timescape is the one. This character, studied for so long in in one castle, and yeah, I think it learned a lot about the outside world without actually experiencing any of it. And the adventure is her experiencing it. Then we get one more perk, and then I think that's done. Well, then we have complication, of course. One more perk. Crafting, I'm not so sure of. I think we want to go down to lore or supernatural. I like arcane trick. That's very useful because yeah, it's kind of there's a bit of mage hand in there. There's a little bit of I forget what is it, a cantrip in 5e that does kind of this kind of stuff, but I like this though. You make 1 pound of edible food you can touch, taste delicious or disgusting. You get up to some hijinks with that one. Yeah, let's go with arcane trick. Wherever the perks are in here. They're somewhere. They're somewhere. There. And then I'll just copy and paste this one in here. And we'll have that. And then we have our complication, which we save for the end because I think it would be sort of a punchline at the end, kind of. So advanced studies, we're not going to go through every one of them. We're just going to go over the ones that kind of make sense just from the title, and then we'll read on. Advanced studies, you somehow obtain the notebook of a brilliant but eccentric member of your class. It should help you unlock powerful new abilities if you can figure out what it means. This is the one where you make a power roll, and either you summon a demon or you get an ability from higher in your level. Not sure how well that translates to 10th level, so I'm not going to use that. Amnesia, no, I don't think so. Artifact bonded, no. I think she has like her book and her portals, and I think that's her. Um, Antihero, no. Bereaved. No, not killed because you the backstory on this one is that or the setting incident was that her friend who she was locked in the castle with was disappeared, and I don't think there is closure on there, so I don't think bereaved makes sense. But you could probably homebrew it. Ooh, I like this. Yeah. Betrothed. Your parents made a deal, and as part of that deal, you're supposed to marry someone or something you didn't choose. But no one is going to tell you what to do. They'll be sorry when you run away and when become a mighty adventurer. You escaped with a dowry present, a first echelon trinket of your choice. The drawback is people who learn of your running out on your commitment think less of you and spread nasty rumors about you. Your renown can't ever be more than your level, -1. That seems a little mean-spirited, this one, to be honest with you. I mean, just have an open mind, right? But I guess that's it. We're going to do... Where is the complication? Here it is. I like betrothed. Let's see. Hold on. Careful curse. Do something reckless. No, I don't think so. I think consuming interest. Okay. Ever since you were a kid, you were obsessed with a certain topic. During your travels, you spend your free time gleaning all the information you can on it. You might not be the world's leading expert quite yet, but people should certainly trust your opinion on the topic. The benefit, you gain a skill from the lore skill group. You can use the following project up to 3 times for that skill. Each time you use that project, you must use a different project source. So you study lore, and the reward is... your knowledge on your chosen field increases when you finish this project. The bonus to tests provided by your skill increases from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. Oh, that's really interesting. Drawback, you can't imagine ever being wrong on the subject. When you make a test to recall lore using your chosen skill, the director makes the test in secret. Oh, instead of informing you whether you're right or wrong, they provide you with correct information if you succeeded or false information if you failed. Ooh. This gives a little edge to her too. You know, she's thinking that she thinks she's right about everything. That gives her a little bit of attitude. I kind of like that on her chosen field. Yeah, I do like that. I don't think any of these really relate. Elemental inside. I don't know if that... I mean, she is an elementalist, but I don't think that's kind of her problem. Fallen immortal, no. Exile. Fey touched, famous relative, no. Fiery ideal. Fire and Chaos, following in the footsteps. Forbidden romance, no. Frost heart, getting too old for this, no. She's fairly young, I think. Nullbit, no. Grifter, grounded. Guilty conscience. Okay, guilty conscience. The world is troubled. The world is in trouble and it's partly your fault. Ooh, I like that. You're determined to stay alive so you can set things right. When you are reduced to negative of your wounded value, you can spend a recovery as a free triggered action. That's cool. Drawback, many people blame you for the evils you caused. They may be unfriendly or hostile to you, and you can see their point of view. You have Bane on test me to interact with or strike those who accuse you of the sin you have committed. Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe that's why she was stuck away in a castle for so long. Wrongfully imprisoned. Where's that one? Where is it? Down here, presumably. Wrongfully imprisoned. You spend many years imprisoned for a crime you didn't commit during your long hours of solitary confinement. You honed your skills. Oh, yeah, this is it. And you recited the names of those who framed you. Someday you will have your revenge. Yeah, You learn 2 skills of your choice, neither of which are from the interpersonal skill group, obviously. That that sums her up. And your health suffered in prison. While you are winded, you develop a hacking cough, which makes it impossible for you to hide or sneak. Ooh, yeah, I like this. I like this. It's a good idea. Good idea. Um, yeah, fits with the theme. Yeah, we'll go with wrongfully imprisoned. Why not? Two more skills we got to come up with though. Oh gosh, so many skills. We're such a skilled elementalist. All right, skills, 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 skills. Where are the skills? Here are the skills. I think maybe alertness would make sense, and forgery we already have. Hmm. Pick lock, maybe. I like pick lock. She could get around the castle and sort of break into different places. That'd be cool. But yeah, I think this is our character. Yeah, that goes right to the Fury there. Yeah, so this is our character. The last thing we need, I didn't like mess with the stamina or anything because that is a lot to keep track of every level. So this is our character. We just need a name now. And what is this? Is a high elf name, so it's got to be very poetic. It's got to be it's got to be something that is voidy and a little sci-fi. But then you also have to think she was imprisoned for a long time, right? So it's got to be. It might be about like breaking free of the prison. So maybe something like escaped from. Oh, escaped from. Escaped from. She was imprisoned for a crime she didn't commit from false chains. Escaped from false chains. Is that transported from false chains? Maybe or transported. How long did it take you to do this? We've been streaming for about 2.5 hours, so almost that long. Let's look at this character, the art for the character, this one right here, and we can tell what would be a name. Escape from false chains. I think. Something more poetic than that, like the view from. Yeah, no, it's not that bad, and you're going to be doing this over like the vast majority of the time that we spent on this was just first level, just figuring out the all of the other details, and then you pick everything else as you level up. The rest of the levels were really easy. It's got to be like the view from a beautiful prison or something like that. A view from a majestic cell. Ooh, I like that. Melt the shackles off. Oh, I like that too. Melt the shackles off. Melt the shackles off, or like transport out of the shackles. I like the view from a majestic, no, and the view from a, oh god, it's gotta be something. So her name was something that she got Um, maybe when she was in prison. I'm not sure, but the view from she's also from the void, right? She studies the void, so it could also be like um something about breaking free, something like or melt the shackles off. Yeah. Like I could go with melt the shackles off, melt the shackles off, or uh, void kiss. That now I'm just spitting something random stuff out, right? I have no idea. It's got to be something like that though. It's got to be something where it's um uh something where the void helped her escape. Maybe through portals, the adventure awaits or something. That's a little too much. It's I'm not sure what this person's name is. Oh my god. View from a shackled spire. That's it. Thank you. View from a shackled spire. Oh, that's beautiful. View from a shackled spire. Incredible. Let's max this out to 10. Oh, we can't go to 11. That is it. View from a shackled spire. That's a beautiful name. I like that. I really like that. So with that, I think we can wrap it up. We're done with this character. I thank you for watching. If you want to see a real Void Elementalist in action, you can watch the Against the Iron Tyrant series that we just did. It's nuts. It's craziness. What a whole party of 10th level characters can do is quite beyond me. I had a hard time keeping up with all of them. But yeah, you can watch that. We also have some Alien stuff coming up. We just released one Friday and another one probably this Wednesday. And then we start another Drawsteel adventure of 4th level variety. Nice little distraction from work. Yeah, good. I'm glad I could distract you from work, because who wants to do any of that, right? No. Yeah, another Drawsteel adventure this week, probably Friday, because I need a lot of time to edit it. But it's called The Cave of High Weirdness, and it lives up to its name, that's for sure. But yeah, until then, I guess I'll see you later. Thank you all for watching.